Hola everybody, ¿qué tal? Me llamo Cade and you are watching Cade Creates Crap. You're gonna hear my cats in the background. That's just how it's gonna be. I live in a teeny weeny little tiny apartment, and I'm not gonna stop them from playing. Oh my god, I'm not gonna stop them from playing, or taking stinky ass shits in my apartment. That is why Febreze and baking soda exist. So, anyways, besides that, I don't know why my car keys are right here. I'm gonna crack open some budget soda and I'm gonna draw and really just talk about things. I guess we'll see the direction where this goes while I draw. I also have some art supplies that I got for free because last year my grandmother died, and one thing you have to know about my grandmother is that she was a bit of a hoarder. I mean, I think we all sort of become hoarders in our old age, in my opinion. I mean, the longer you live, the more bullshit you collect. But anyway, my aunts had to go through some of her things, and they ended up finding a lot of art supplies. My grandma always bought art supplies and then proceeded to never open them or use them. So I got quite a few things. Not all of them I'm super excited about using, but these are like metallic acrylic paints, and if they aren't, like, they should be fine because they were never open, right? I don't know how that shit works. I don't know if they're gonna be expired or anything, but I'm gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna zoom out this freaking camera because I'm not having enough space up here. What I also want to do is draw some different hairstyles, because something I do struggle with a bit is, while I have like diverse characters, as someone who grew up so freaking white and in a so freaking white town, I don't have that many real life references on, I guess, like people of color and how they look and how diverse different people with different features look in real life. Like, I know the stereotypes, I know how they are portrayed in media, and I can see some people on the internet, but I feel like when it comes to... Hold on, maybe it's not so easy to talk while I'm drawing. When it comes to drawing different types of hair, I feel like I only have two modes. I have like curly, maybe three. I have curly, I have wavy, and I have straight, and that's it. And that's all I know how to do. So there's no like type 1, 2, 3, 4 going on at all. So something I need to work on is actually implementing, you know, the different types of hair, especially since a lot of my stories feature different like people of color that I would like to, you know, have look different. And I think I'm just really nervous to get it wrong. And yeah, I want to do it justice. I want to, like, right now I'm trying to draw like freeform. I don't know anything. I'm a baby, don't hurt me. But basically, like, what I'm getting is like natural type 4 hair, or like 4B 4C type of hair, I think, question mark. It like hair that if you just let it be natural, it almost looks like cotton candy. I don't know how else to describe it. It looks like cotton candy, and I love it. And like, I have a character that would be perfect for it. A lot of my like explicitly black OCs are part of my little fantasy story, which you can see over here. This is also another character I need to figure out her hair type, because she is like, I don't know, like white. She's pale. I don't know, it's fucking fantasy. It doesn't matter. She's pale, but she does have like curly-ish hair, and usually she wears her hair up in like kind of like pixie pigtails that like whatever, she's not over there, that like are supposed to stick up, but I can't decide if she has like normal droopy curly hair or if she does her hair in a way that like makes them stick up, because my original design for her was more like she had this going on, like the little and then she's kind of just like, she has like curly hair-ish. So I have to figure out what kind of hair she does have. My plus size queen. She is like part orc. And so part of her story is sort of like being biracial, but being someone biracial that does have like a lot of privilege, especially since she doesn't really get any of like the green hue to her skin. She's very privileged in that sense. Anyway, I need to figure out the design for Dahlia's sister, who I don't think I've named her yet, but she does come in play in later in the story, but I really enjoy her as a character. And something I'm having fun with is creating trans characters in a world that doesn't really have like medical transition. So like this guy over here, he's transmasculine, and Dahlia, oh freaking train, come on buddy, oh wait. Okay, I think the train more or less passed. But what I'm having fun with is creating transness, like, in a fantasy setting that is, like, so wildly, not wildly, I guess, but, like, it's different from real life. And, I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun, and it is one of those stories that's, like, maybe a bit too complex, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just having fun with it, like slowly building on it. I've had these characters in my head for years, but like I've only recently been really building on what the world looks like and how all of these different characters intersect and all of these different like diverse cultures in one world, how they coexist, how they hate each other, how they work together, you know, like all that kind of fun stuff. And this character is a royal princess, but she was born a royal prince. And in a society where it's very matriarchal and the women are seen as like way more important, more powerful, they have better social standing than men, it's seen as very like offensive for her to claim to be a woman when like she is a man. And she ends up being sort of like not exiled but sent out to work abroad in sort of like mining in like faraway desert lands, like mining magical magical minerals, I guess you could say. I haven't landed on like the terminology that's going to be used or anything, but it's the source of where everybody gets their magic from, is basically like these mines, geode looking things. But yeah, I'm having fun. I might go over this with like different voiceover because I'm not very good at talking when I'm in the middle of drawing. But something like this might be better because I also I watched a video about like character design and black hairstyles, and I mean I'll show the video on screen, but it made me realize, because you know, as somebody who has never been very privy to hairstyles and how they're taken care of, like how high maintenance or low maintenance they are, it made me realize, like, not just now realize, because I thought about this before, but like people of higher class, people who have the money to have hair products or have people do their hair or even just have the time to spend doing their hair, like how that's different depending on what hairstyle you choose to wear your hair in, like you choose to do your hair in. And before, I had this character doing something like this, like very messy dreads. I don't know the terminology, don't kill me, but I think maybe freeform would make more sense for her. Especially because she's more focused on like her work, and not that she doesn't care about her appearance, but she doesn't, it's not her priority, and then also it's not like she loves to look in the mirror, and for that matter there aren't really any mirrors. She can look at her reflection in water, but where she is, it's almost like the energy of, I guess you could say, like a war zone, because it is technically enemy territory that they are occupying in order to mine these valuable things. See, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this freeform hair, dude. Like, I don't know. You get so used to drawing something one way, and then it's hard for me to, like, see, this looks even worse than what I had before. I think I'll figure it out, but I feel like maybe it would be better to stand up and do this because I can't fucking see what I'm doing. Part of it is the lighting and how it makes the pencil shiny. But I don't know. I guess it's more about like the shape, but I think I'm just mad because I've never done it before and I'm a perfectionist. So I gotta cope with that. You know, it's not a big deal. Where's my goddamn brush pen? I swear I bought like a whole pack and then I immediately lost them. Is it this? Yes. Are you this shit? Oh god, I'm gonna fuck this up. But it doesn't matter. I like how I'm not even really following the lines I made, just going on vibes. Now I am skipping to voiceover town because honestly, this is the point where I stopped talking literally at all. I just kind of got into the zone and I was enjoying inking and watercoloring this page and the sketch of other characters I had already drawn. But as previously expressed, yeah, I've just been having a lot of fun with this little fantasy world and all of my little characters. And after I saw that video about black hairstyles, I realized there was so much more that I could do with my characters because the whole royal family is black. And in this kingdom, like, with all the royal people being black, like racism doesn't sorry, racism doesn't exist in like the same way that it does in our world, and I think that very ornate hairstyles would just like be a symbol of class, and like being able to do those hairstyles is just like a sign of privilege. I don't know, food for thought, and so I like her redesign, her hair redesign, I should say. I think it makes more sense. I think I'm happy to finally have like a more expanded idea of how I can draw black hair because when it comes to making black characters, I feel like there's very few ideas that I do, like the loose curly, um, long hair, shaved head, or dreads. Like that's mostly the styles I've done previously because I thought that like I don't know, I just I don't I've never been entrenched in black community, and when you don't experience it in real life, it's hard for it to just come into your imagination. I think that the older I get, the more I understand that good fiction is made by being experienced in the real world. Like a good fiction is informed by real life. And so I'm trying to do my part and learn more about like the types of things that I'm trying to include in my stories, the types of people I'm trying to include in my stories, and even like not even just in this story, in another story I'm kind of thinking about including fantastical or like I don't know, fantastical and mythical things that don't exist in real life but have real world context. Like, the fact that goblins are they were sort of born out of really harmful ideas about Jewish people, and kind of just um, looking on it in a way that like you can't inextricably like separate the history of witches and the witch hat, the history of goblins as like a mythical species, without accepting the fact that some of those things have come from historically the way that Jewish people have been treated, the way that they were stereotyped in art pieces. And I mean, I'm I would guess that some of them actually came from a really perverted sense of Jewish traditions. I don't know. I'm not Jewish. I'm not from the past. But, just like being mindful in all of those things when you're making characters that relate to those things, because I do have like a whole goblin society that I'm working on with this story, and the illustration on the right page. One of the characters is a goblin, and they live in like the so far the main like goblin society, I guess you could say. It's more like a community, and I've just it's hard to try and avoid stereotypes when you're not part of that group, so you don't really know the group aside from the stereotypes. So all I can really do is look at the history and try and do it in a way that is more like informed. And I guess I don't want my goblins to be a recreation of Jewish people. I want it to be informed by the fact that goblins were historically based off of Jewish people, but my goblins are not meant to be caricatures of Jewish people or to display Jewish people in a fantastical setting. Like they are completely separate things, which is, I think, something that some people like to avoid when it comes to fantasy discourse that is like clearly not like the media isn't doing anything to not implicate Jewishness or whatever communities they're obviously characterizing in their fantasy setting. Like they're basically not helping themselves when it comes to accusations for offensive things, motifs, characters, whatever. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, I guess. I'm just someone who very much cares about representational discourse, and not to a point where I would rather just like not create anything in fear of somehow being offensive. It's more in the vein that I want to make my characters and my stories more informed so that it doesn't feel like mindless representation. It doesn't feel like I just spun a wheel and I'm like, oh, I'll have this black character and this other character and this Jewish character and this fat character and this trans character, and we'll just shove them together and see what happens. I want it to have more nuance than that, and I don't want to fall into stereotypes, but I also don't want to make my characters just that one defining trait, you know? Like my character is more than just trans. My character is more than just like what their race is or whatever. And everything about their character doesn't have to be informed or center around that trait. And there's just a lot that goes into it, obviously. Like, of course, this character that I'm painting right now, part of her story is greatly affected by how she is trans, but that isn't really all she is. You know, like she is very much involved in the sort of rebellion, sabotage movement that's going on in in the kingdom, and she's like royal. She's basically like, I don't know, she she's like a spy from the inside. And that's like more of who she is in the story, and her transness isn't intrinsic to it, but it tells you a lot about what she's been through, who she is, and it also sheds some light on the main character, Dahlia, who doesn't really talk about much. She isn't very open about herself. It shows you how she actually did interact and know transness as a concept more personally. Um, and that the reason she may care more about this social issue is not random. It's not because she like read it in a book somewhere or she saw something in the paper. It's because it's part of her personal family story. This was a sibling that was like a motherly figure to her, an older sibling who was like motherly to her, and she cares very much about, and she was so close to her that she began to understand her way of thinking, her way of being, and why she thought politically the way she did, and what made her identify with being a woman, and how she kind of rewrote what gender means for Dahlia in an environment that is, I guess you could say, more related to like how conservative ideals are in real life, like very binary genders.
So that is pretty much all I got. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned in this long, I had a lot of fun rambling. Rambling is one of my few talents. So, if you also like to talk about this sort of thing, please, please, please comment. I don't even care if you like, I don't care if you subscribe, just comment. I enjoy a good conversation. Anyway, that is all. I will see you next time, hopefully. Bye.